Have you ever noticed that you keep repeating the same mistakes in life? The patterns are the same. Maybe the people are different, but what you do remains the same. Have you ever noticed that? I personally have an experience in that. I realized that I tend to be very clingy when I'm in a relationship, and I'm really working on that. For the longest of time, I thought, but until I realized that I was actually the problem. Mommy, you are, or you were the problem, rather. There's a lot of work that I had to do on myself to work on me, because sometimes it's not always the other person. Sometimes we are the problem. So I realized that this keeps on being a vicious cycle, and until I change something about my situation, unfortunately, I was still gonna get hurt. Dumelang, welcome back to Healing the Inner Child with Mami Ngalai. The goal of this video isn't to make anybody feel bad about themselves, but it's to raise awareness. You know, guys, we've normalized a lot of things that aren't working for us anymore. And unfortunately, we have this thing of shifting the blame, when sometimes we are the ones to be blamed. Or Bona, you keep repeating the same mistakes, you keep attracting the same guy or the same woman, just in different bodies, and you think the problem is with the other person. Well, sometimes we are the problem. So in today's video, I'll be unpacking 5 signs your inner child shapes your relationships, your romantic relationships. And before we go any further, I have a request. Could you guys please like, share, and subscribe? I'm recently learning about the YouTube algorithm, that the more people share my videos and like them, the more YouTube pushes them to more audience. So guys, please support your girl. Please do like, share, subscribe, and comment. Without wasting any time, let's unpack. Sign number 1 is the fear of abandonment. I personally have an experience in this. On the video of my childhood, I mentioned that I lost my parents when I was very young. And in a way, that still impacts me even today. I have the fear of abandonment. You know, whenever I have people in my life, I have this thing of, you know, never to work, anyway. But I'm learning to allow people to be those who want to stay, and those who want to go. I'm learning to allow them to be. That's the way without, you know, me trying to control everything. Unfortunately, in this world, one way or another, we're going to be abandoned, be it by the people that we love, you know, the people that we thought will always be there, or even those. But it happens, guys, and we need to be okay and at peace with that, because that's part of life, unfortunately. Sign number 2 is people pleasing. You know, sometimes you overcompensate just because you keep about to into your life. You know, you just to please the next person, because what if I become honest about who I am and what I want? What if they decide to go? Then and again, this video isn't meant to make anybody feel bad about themselves. You have your reasons why only the way that you are. My hope is that you become aware, because awareness is the first step to everything. Sign number 3 is shutting down during conflict. There are people who don't know how to handle conflict. I actually have a colleague and a sister of mine. The other time we're talking about attachment theories and she told me something that was very interesting. During conflict, she feels suffocated, like I can't breathe. I need space to breathe, and then I'll come back a few minutes later to whatever, about whatever. And I found that very interesting, because for some of us, we want to address the issue kana ka yona nako eo e fete. And ke ithutile gore there are people who are just the opposite of the person that I am, who believe in taking their time, processing their emotions. And yeah, we are different as human beings. I'm learning. I really am learning. So that's one of the signs, shutting down. Some people even flee by the watcher, some ghosts. Babang, banna rude. And if this is what you do, I think you need to sit down and ask yourself why that is. Could it be that your inner child is calling for your attention? Sign number 4 is overachieving in love. We sometimes make this mistake because you don't want to lose people. I feel like this one, it's similar to the fear of abandonment. You overgive. Understand that? If your love language is, acts of service, just to please, your partner. Well, sometimes love language, your partner, they need something different. But because that's your love language, you think, I'm just going to overdo this. And sometimes even if it's their love language, because you think the more I overgive, the loving they'll become. Especially if you realize this person is not fully there. Overcompensating will make them realize how much you love them, how much you're willing to go the extra mile. And unfortunately, sometimes the more you do this, the more you your own light, because you overgive to this person that you sometimes fail to attend to yourself. This is where resentment, sometimes we end up resenting the very same people that we love, because we feel like we kept on, giving. Bona, it was just all about taking, and without getting anything in return. So guys, we need to be careful when this happens. Yes, it's always a good thing to be there for your partner, to be a loving partner, to be a giving partner, to love your partner, loving them according to their love languages. But sometimes we need to be careful to overdo it. Sign number 5, which is also our final sign, is difficulties trusting other people, like the person that you're in a relationship with, and we miss the whole point of being in a relationship, because guys, we only connect, or we can only connect truly by being vulnerable. Sometimes in you find it hard to be vulnerable because they won't see you the same. Guys, the only way to know if a person belongs to you is by being honest. Be yourself by being vulnerable. And if you see that this person rejects your truth, then I think you have your answer. Like a piece. But don't trust that. I'm a firm believer in, giving my all until people prove to me what I deserve. Until then, I think who believes in humanity, who believes that there are good people out there. There are people who can truly love me for what and who I am. Understand that? And until I'm proven otherwise, I am not going to stop doing that. I refuse to continue living. Back then, the guys who have hurt me and those who couldn't appreciate the person that I am. I feel like, unfortunately, that's their loss. Unfortunately, that's their loss. To understand that. What I'm not going to do is to punish the next person for the mistakes they did. The solution to all of this is, number 1, being aware. Awareness is the first step to a lot of things, like I said. Be aware that you do experience these struggles. And by being aware, it's easy and also the second solution is by being compassionate, having self-compassion, because you can never really heal yourself fully. So by being too harsh on yourself, have grace for yourself, have compassion. In as much as at the end of the day, you are a human being and you will continue making mistakes. Be compassionate and understand that and unfortunately sometimes. And man, yeah, let's heal this inner child, because we can't continue this way. Not in our everyday life, in romantic relationships, friendships and other relationships that we have, because at the end of the day, the relationship is important more than anything in this world. So guys, in conclusion, which part of this video resonated with you? Please write your comments on the comment section. I would love to read them, reinteract, so that we can grow this community of healing the inner child. Thank you guys so much for taking your time to listen to this video. Until next time, bye bye.